So
We're
good morning,
ready.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, we're ready for you.
Okay. So good morning, everybody. My name is Brian Solomons. I am the project manager here at ICM Controls. And today we're going to preview the ICM Controls new SENTRY 3-in-1. It is a three-part product. It is a voltage monitor, a surge protection device that also includes an internal disconnect for breaking power. So let's get right into it. One more thing, just to note quick, you'll see the phase one there. So this product will be launching in January. And for any questions that you guys come up with during the webinar, just hold them till the end, and we'll answer them then. All right, let's go. So what is the SENTRY 3-in-1? The SENTRY 3-in-1 is a three-part product. Like I said in the beginning, it's a surge protection device with voltage monitoring, and it has that quick disconnect. It combines the benefits of the 517A along with the accuracy of voltage monitoring on the 492C, and both are single-phase products. But this one, separate from our ICM 493, also incorporates a disconnect breaker. That breaker provides techs and homeowners, contractors, installers, a convenient way to break power to whatever appliance they're supplying. And along with the ICM 517A, it provides surge protection for over/under voltage that could cause damage to said appliance. And one big thing to highlight here is that all of the components inside the box are field replaceable. So what you see on the right there are just a pointer to all three products, the 517A in the top left, the 492C in the top right, a 40 amp contactor, which we'll get into in a minute, and then that type C breaker right in the bottom center there. So I will keep moving. So a quick just overview of some of the features that this product have. I can't stress enough the all-in-one portion of this, having all three of those electrical features for your appliance, all for a 40 amp system, including that 40 amp breaker. All of the components being field replaceable is a huge benefit. In case one component, such as the surge protector, protects your device downstream or your appliance downstream, you can come in, just pop the cap off the 517A, replace it with another ICM 517A, and you're back in business. You don't have to buy a whole new unit for it. The field programmable ICM 492C voltage monitor also has a backlit display. I'm not sure where most of you guys are from, but in about 2 weeks here, it's going to be dark at about 4:30 p.m. So having that backlit display is really nice. The onboard 40 amp contactor is really great for inductive loads. It works in junction with the breaker to make sure the power is fully broken. The pre-wired 517A again is an awesome surge protected device. It's in that cast aluminum case, which will protect everything surrounding it in the event of a surge. The 517A is rated at 100,000 amps surge capacity, which is double the competitors for this product. And again, that metal case is huge in this instance. If you do end up getting a surge event that uses this 517A's capabilities and you have to end up replacing it, it being in a metal case makes it much cleaner, easier, and smoother to remove the 517A and just replace it right straight up. This product is made in the US. With a NEMA Type 4 enclosure. So the big gray plastic around is a Type 4 rated weatherproof enclosure. The 40 amp breaker, again, to disconnect power is a huge plus here. And then our warranty is similar to our 517A warranty. It's a 3-year, $10,000 connected equipment warranty, and there's additional protections for up to $25,000 per occurrence. But that's only sitting on the 517A's shoulders. This product directly replaces RectorSeal's RSH 50 VR, excuse me, RSH 50 VR MDC. And you'll see some similarities here, but we believe our surge protection is far superior in our contactor. So we'll break it down here in the next few slides. So one part that's highly useful out in the field is our ICM 492C. It protects against over/under voltage, and it'll display as it's doing so on the easy to read LCD panel. It does have an adjustable voltage set point and the anti-short cycle time delay to protect your equipment some more. The adjustable response time is also a big plus that users already experience with the 492Cs that are out in the field. And again, this is a 240 volt product, and the 492C is pre-wired. So there's no wiring that has to go into the 492C or the 517 or the contactor to the other parts, I should say. The available control voltage here is 18 to 240. Some of that's not wired. Moving on to the ICM 517A. The features of 517A are highly used out in the market. The tamper-proof aluminum cast case is a NEMA Type 4 rated enclosure in and of itself, which goes inside the SENTRY's NEMA Type 4 enclosure. This aluminum casted enclosure contains all sorts of surge events much better than any sort of plastic enclosure could ever do. In the event of surge, your 517A does do its job and protects your appliance downstream. You need to replace it. It'll be much cleaner and easier to replace something that's in casted aluminum. It doesn't get hot and potentially damage some of the products around it. It will be 100% contained inside your 517A. We only use TMOV technology, the thermal movistors, so they do get warm. And again, having a metal case to protect the other components inside from those warm movistors is awesome in the event of surge. Our surge capacity is 100,000 amps, which is twice that of the Rector Seals product that I said this replaces earlier. And then this is just a very simple to read status indicator light saying, either yes, you are protected from surge, or no, you need to replace us because we protected your appliance downstream. And then this is also a UL listed device. So another big feature on this product is the onboard circuit breaker. This provides a really easy and simple way to disconnect service, electrical service for when you're doing anything to your equipment that's downstream of it. It is a Type C trip curve breaker. And its network frequency is 50 to 60 hertz. It's a double pole breaker. You can use wires all the way up to 4 gauge down to 18 gauge, either solid or stranded, and its short circuit break rating is 10,000 amps at the 240 volts that this is rated for. And again, this is huge. It makes it a lot simpler for anybody servicing the equipment to shut power off, ensure that their safety is met, and combined with the 517A and the 492, there's a lot of protections for your equipment downstream. And then one real big note we have over the Rector Seals RSH50 is that we have an onboard 40 amp contactor, which fully disconnects the load from the circuit. It's much different than Rector Seals relays. They have block relays, latching block relays. The contactors are better suited for inductive loads because they do switch on and off. The latching block relays need a second circuit to switch between the on and off position. And if they latch in the on position when they're not supposed to, it could create a potential safety hazard. This contactor will not do so. So just an overview of all four things that go in. We call it the 3-in-1 because the three main parts are the 517, the 492, and the circuit breaker there. The contactor is just a bonus. So again, just to hit the 517A quick, you can see it right there real close to all the other components and real close to the plastic case. If that does do its job and protect your equipment downstream, it'll be easy to pop those retainer screws off the top and just replace it with a brand new one. Same with the ICM 492. For some reason, if that is also protecting your appliance downstream and happens to have some sort of fault, it's easy to just pop that out and field replace it with another ICM 492C. And both of those are pre-wired into the contactor slash breaker. And then we do have the breaker, as I mentioned, the 40 amp circuit breaker, which disconnects the service from the power. And it can use that big 4 gauge wire all the way down to the 18 gauge wire. And then again, that 40 amp contactor, which directly handles the inductive loads, larger loads such as motors and compressors, a lot better than those latching relays. As contractors in the field or anybody who would be installing this, this is just a quick little wiring diagram. It is a 240 volt line input, which goes into the bottom of the breaker, and then your line power out to whatever load source it is, just comes right off of the bottom of the contactor. Really simple, really easy. When you get the product, it's just 3 screws to pop off to access the inside, and there's space to drill a hole through the bottom to get your wires in and to push them out from. And then just a quick look at the actual enclosure itself. We've gone over what's inside. So the enclosure itself is a NEMA 4X rated enclosure. It is made of polycarbonate material. The cover has a little latch on it with a hole, so it can be locked if it needs to be. It's about 12 by 8 by 5 in size. Inside is pretty full already with our components, but it's 10 by 7 on the inside. And the top cover gasket is what makes this NEMA Type 4 enclosure rated for tight weather conditions. And it can be used in a wide range of said weather conditions. And then just a quick look here at us versus the RectorSeal product. So our operating voltage is very similar. We only service 240. Which is going to be most of the applications these are used in. We do, again, have that onboard contactor for those special inductive loads, and they do not. They use those latching relays. Our output rating is only 40 amps. Theirs is 60, but again, if it were me, I'd want the actual contactor versus just the latching relay. We include the 40 amp breaker on the inside, as well do they. Our surge capacity, huge highlight here. We have double the surge capacity that the RectorSeal's product does. So when it comes to having any event such as high inrush, the 517 will protect your downstream appliance much with double the protection as the RectorSeal offer does. We both use TMOV technology. We have more thermal movistors inside of our 517A, which gives us the more surge capacity. And again, its enclosure being the metal NEMA 4X case is huge for being on the inside of the product, because it means nothing else in there will get damaged in the event of a surge. And the enclosure for the entire unit itself is also NEMA 4 rated. Ours is NEMA 4 versus their NEMA 3R, so theirs would still need to be under cover of some sorts. Similar protection modes, line to line and line to ground. Both have fault history through the ICM 492C. And then again, if you're up in the north like we are here at ICM, that backlit LCD can come in real handy in the wintertime when the sun goes down about 4:30. So the RectorSeal's voltage monitor does not have that. There is no assembly required prior to installation, just the wiring, as we said. And then both are field programmable, but another huge plus that ICM can offer is that we're made in America. And then I have one here. We've seen a preview to a lot of the inside of the case. This is what the homeowner would see once it's installed. A nice ABS cover covering all of the electrical components to make sure that they're safe from any touch points or anything like that. And I can hold that up again if anybody would like me to. But the only thing that the end user will see if they ever need to is that ICM 492C in that breaker. And then that is all I have to offer. That was the SENTRY 3-in-1. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask.
So Brian, it has a cover in front of it, you said?
Yeah, here I can hold that up once more here. So this is what the end installation will look like. It has a label with some of the warnings and some of the ratings on it. The breaker switch is down at the bottom, and then the ICM 492C is up in the corner, and then there's no other way to get your fingers into where the electricity will actually be flowing inside the unit.
Okay, that actually looks really nice.
Are we going to come in price-wise compared to this, the RectorSeal one?
Is there anybody from sales on? It should be a similar price. I was hoping that our product manager would be on to answer that one. It should be a similar price. Likely being a little bit higher, just a slight bit higher because of some of the features we have in the 517A and the 492, along with the more robust contactor we have. Pricing will be set when the product launches January time.
Yeah, I think it's a couple dollars difference, between $5 and $10 higher.
Hey, Brian, this is
Yes.
Abby. It's my understanding that we'll be running a pilot period with a set price for all price books. It will be the same, but it's subject to change. And we are getting ready to, distribute our price books in the next couple of months here. So we'll be in touch. And if anybody has any questions, they can reach out to their RSMs.
Great. That's a much better answer.
Is the rector skill one irreplaceable like items inside of it or not?
Not in the same way that ours is.
So they
Ours
can
are, ours
replace,
are
let's say, the RSH 50, but not the controller itself.
correct.
Okay.
Anybody have any other questions? He's pretty light. If nobody's got anything else, then I don't have too much other information to share. If anybody does come up with anything, feel free to reach out and ask. As I said, and Abby mentioned, this will be releasing in January as a pilot program. So if there's any interest, just let us know, and we'd be happy to help. If
Brian, will this,
oh, go ahead.
presentation be available to view online, or can you download
Yeah.
the PowerPoint?
Yes, I'll let Paige answer better, but yeah, the meeting is recorded and it'll be posted to our website, I believe.
Great. Thank you.
And
Mhm.
then are you guys going to be sending out samples sometime soon to the reps?
Yes, each of the reps should have samples now that they can preview. If they don't have them now, they should have them by the end of the week. They're all made, so they should have them soon. We just got a message in that says, how will the price compare to the ICM 493? Again, I'm not in the pricing side of things. This will be certainly higher than the 493 because it does have more superior surge and it does have the breaker disconnect involved. But to what extent, I'm sorry, I can't answer. When the price book goes out that Abby stated, then you'll have a better idea. Good question. So another note came in, just an OCD note. Why not flip the cover on the ICM 517A so it doesn't have to be upsided? So two things to note here. One, since this is a pilot program, this wasn't a full design process. If it does get greenlit after the pilot program, it'll look a little bit different. It'll be a little bit more robust from the sense of where the components sit. It'll be a little easier to understand. If you can see here, I forget, I can't actually just point to the screen and see. There's a little notch cutout up here. There's a butt out in the case that helps it retain its NEMA 4X rating because there's a screw hole in the bottom for mounting. But if the screw hole went all the way through, it wouldn't it wouldn't it wouldn't be rated NEMA 4. So with that little butt out, if you were to twist the ICM 517A, the bracket that it sits on wouldn't have enough room there, and the 517A would be hitting the contactor. And we just wanted to keep it clear of that. But just as a note, it does not affect the usability of the 517A or the application of it at all. And as an added note, when you see the cover, the 517A is totally covered. There's just an extra light pipe that my finger's on that you guys probably can't see that allows you to see the fault light that's through it. Oh, yes. Sorry. Another question came in. Will this product be certified for Canada? So, good note from John Finetti, also in the chat. Currently, agency is on each of the individual products, meaning the entire product as a whole doesn't have to be certified because each of the interior products are certified. Yeah, so for this current design, oh, sorry, another question come in from the chat. Is there knockout holes on the bottom, or will those have to be drilled? There is no knockout holes for this pilot program, so those will have to be drilled. But there is plenty of space, about 4 inches in the bottom for you to do said operation. And then just another note while I have this open, you can see on screen there, the 4 screws, there's 2 at the bottom. Sorry, I can't point. There's 2 at the bottom and 2 at the top. If the door hinging this way isn't acceptable and it needs to be hinged the other way, those 4 screws can be popped out. The entire unit can be flipped upside down, remounted with those 4 screws, and the door can open and close the other way and retain that locking nut on the one side.
Hey, Brian, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, so some people came into this a little bit late. Can we just do a one last overview of the main features, focusing like more on the benefits of having that contactor, the benefits of having the breaker, of course. That was something that customers wanted because they wanted to have a box that if they're doing a new installation, they don't have to add an additional breaker. Whereas on the 493 product, the customer still would have had to put in a breaker, right? A disconnect. Now, this is already built into this product. So that's what kind of makes this a little bit, more advantageous to the 493 in that aspect. The secondary safety of the 517A, you hit on that really well, for containing massive surges and things like that, parts could heat up, melt, pop, this is all contained inside there. A great extra feature. Just to touch on that inductive load, a lot of people might not realize what necessarily that means. So most of your motors, your contactor, or your compressors, any electrical motors, things like that, those are inductive loads. Now, those latching relays that are in the rector seal, they're block relays that may only be resistive rating. I doubt if they're inductive rated, if they're block relays like that. So even though they may have a high resistive rating, their inductive rating could be substantially less. Not only that, the latching feature of those block relays, like Brian had mentioned, creates a potential risk if those latch in the on position. You won't have that option here because we have a contactor coil that is energized by our product and then de-energized. And so there's not going to be a potential for those relays to latch in the on position. The enclosure, nice plastic enclosure with the O-ring gasket there, seals it up nice, give you that nice extra NEMA 4X rating as compared to the Rector Seals 3X. The backlit display, of course, on the 492, and the adjustability of all the features. Very, very nice. Talk a little bit about that control input that is not wired at the bottom there. That's not wired because we don't really want to use control voltage. Control voltage is an optional input on our standard product and not generally used in the field anyway. It's just an input that would give you control over when the output relay is turned on, and we don't really want to use that for this device. So it's just those 2 terminals at the bottom are just not used. The surge capacity being twice the amount on the 517A as compared to the rector seal is a huge benefit. And the ease of just, literally you got 2 wires in, 2 wires out, and a ground if you needed to put a ground. Honestly, it's very, very simple wiring. It just couldn't get any easier. I think we got a good little headway over the rector seal in certain areas, and especially the fact that it's robust design and it's made in America. I think that justifies the slight cost difference. So I just wanted to wrap that up along with Brian, for any of those who came in late. There are some people just joining now. They'll have to actually download this when it becomes available. Are there any other questions that anybody has? All right, Brian, I'll leave it to you then to wrap it up.
Yeah. All right. Since there's no other questions, that'll be it for today. Really hope you guys are interested in it. Like I said before, this will be launching as a pilot in January, and we'll preview this once more after the reps have samples and can show it off. If there's any other questions, feel free to reach out to your reps, and they should be able to answer anything you've got. So hope you guys have a great day. Thank you very much.
You too, Brian. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.